Hello everyone and welcome to I'll Be Sewing. My name is Gina and today I'm going to show you how to make this little bag that you can hang in your purse to carry your hand sanitizing and your mask. It's a simple project. You can use fat quarters or even fat eighths. It doesn't take a lot of fabric and it's fairly fast project to do. So right now I'm going to give you a list of the materials you're going to need to make this little bag. So we're going to need two different fabrics, and we're going to need one for exterior and one for interior, and we're going to need another two little pieces for the pocket. For the exterior and interior fabric, we're going to need two pieces of 5 inches by 16. So I have my exterior and my interior. You're also going to be needing a piece of fusible fleece, the same size, the 5 inches by 16. Then we're going to need, for the little pocket to carry the hand sanitizing, we're going to need two little pieces, and these pieces here is 4.5 by 6 inches. So I have my two pieces here. For the strap to go around your purse, you're going to be needing one piece. I have mine here 11 by 2, but you can make longer if you would like. And then to put the D-ring here on the side, I have a little piece that's 3 inches by 2 inches. Okay, and that's my pieces that I have here. You're also going to be needing a small swivel hook and D-ring. So you can get these. This is from Dritz. They come in little packages like that, and you can use those, or you can use whatever you have available. You can even add a snap or maybe a little piece of Velcro. Depends how you want to add on yours. So let's get started. So I'm going to put this one here to the side, and we're going to be starting with the strap. The little strap, we have 2 inches by 11, and what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and fold it in half. And after you fold it in half, you're going to bring this middle to the side, this one to here, and we're going to fold it again like this and to sew it in both sides. But before we do that, we want to finish one edge. So what we're going to go ahead and we're going to open the fabric like this. We're going to put right sides together, and we're going to go ahead and sew a seam here. Okay, after you sew that seam there, we're going to turn this to this side like this and fold it all in. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to sew it, and I'm going to show you how you get that perfect edge finish. There's different ways that you can do. You can fold and then fold and fold, but like this, it's not as, it's more bulky here, and sometimes you get stuck sewing it on the sewing machine. So if you do it this way, you turn it right sides together and sew that like that, and then refold it is a little bit easier. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that and just show you. So this little part is sewed in like that. So what are you going to do? You're going to go ahead and open your seam like that, just like that, and then you're going to turn that so you don't have any bulk there, and you end up with something like this. And see, we have the crease as we sewed that like that. We're going to go ahead and fold this in all the way in, just to follow that crease that we already had. And we're going to go ahead and iron it back like this, and we're going to go ahead and sew here and here, and you see this edge here is completely finished. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. So the rest, then we're gonna prepare our other little piece here. This one here, that's for the D-ring, and this is the 3 by 2. We're gonna do the same thing, fold in half, bring it to the middle, bring it to the middle, fold it here, and in this case we don't need to finish any edge. We're just gonna go sew it around in both ends. Okay, so then we're gonna go to the pocket. Our pocket, we're gonna put right sides together, and the 6-inch side from here to here, we're gonna sew the top and the bottom all the way here and all the way here. So I sewed here and here 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I'm gonna go ahead and turn it to the right side. And we're gonna go ahead and press these two seams. Okay, So then you're going to get your exterior that has the fusible fleece fused and your interior, and we're going to put right sides together, and we're going to go ahead and sew a seam in one end. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do that. So you join them together, you end up with a long piece like that. And when sewing a fabric that has interfacing or fusible fleece or any kind, you should always be sewing on the side that has the fusible interfacing versus the side that doesn't have any interfacing, as your seam will be a lot nicer and your fabric is not going to stretch. So after you've done that, you're going to go ahead and turn this to this side like this, and you're going to go ahead and do a seam, a top stitch here. And on this one, after you press, you're also going to be doing a seam here and here, just a top stitch just to finish up the edges. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and do that. So I top stitch here and here, also here, and when top stitching, you should increase your stitch length to a 3 or 3.5 so you have a nicer seam. As you're sewing thicker layers, sometimes the machine tends to sew a lot smaller, so by increasing your stitch length, your stitching will be a little nicer and it will look more proper. After you've done that, so you end up with something like this, you're going to put your fabric like that, and from the top here where you saw the top stitch down, you're going to mark 5 inches. And you're going to go ahead and open the lining to one side and fabric to the other. You're going to get your pocket that you have here, your top stitch, you're going to bring it to that 5-inch side, and you're going to go ahead and do a seam here. And then you're going to go, after you sew the seam here, let me grab a pin. You're going to bring your fabric again to the seam here, and you're going to go ahead and do a seam here, just attaching to the edges here. Okay, and this part stays loose to the middle. After you sew the both sides, you're going to end up with a piece like this. So you're going to go here to the bottom, and from here to here, you're going to go 1 3/4, and one from here to here, 1 3/4, and you're going to be marking there. You're going to go also ahead and mark from here up to here about 1 inch. So I'm going to go 1 inch up. Let's do 1.5, probably will be better. 1.5 and 1.5, and we're going to go ahead and join those lines, that tip to that there. We're going to go ahead and join that. You're going to take this to the sewing machine and you're going to sew that here. You're going to make sure you really backstitch really well here, because this is where your hand sanitizing is going to be coming out, and you need that be secure. And the same with this side, you're going to go ahead and sew that there, and again backstitch really well here so it's secure. This pouch that I've made here is based on this small hand sanitizing, and this one here, it's 60 milliliters. This is the one that I'm using here. So if you're using a bigger container, you might have to make, instead of 6 inches, you might have to do 7 inches or a little bit bigger, to adjust the size of your container. So this one here is perfect for this size here. This is the one that I'm showing how to do it. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and sew here and here, and I'll show you the next step. So I sew my both lines here. As you see, if I put my hand sanitizing, it fits like this, and you see it's fairly loose. So if you needed to put a bigger bottle, like something like this, you can still use this one here and do it like this. And then whatever bottle that you're using, you're going to go here and you're going to pinch, see where you want it a little bit seam to be here, so the bottle will stay put, so it doesn't stay moving around. So if you're having one that's a little wider here like this one, or a more narrow like this one, it's going to be slightly different. So since I'm making for this size here that I have here, this one here, so I'm gonna go ahead and put my bottle in. One is coming completely out here. I'm gonna go ahead and push my fabric down. See where it stops here, and I'm gonna go ahead and put a pin. And I'm gonna go to the side, go ahead and put a pin. So now I know my bottle is coming in and out. I'm gonna go ahead with my ruler. I'm gonna measure what I have from that pin out. I have about 1 1/8 on this side and about 1 1/8 on this side. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my bottle out, leave the pins there, and go ahead. I'm gonna draw a line on that 1 1/8 all the way down to the tip here. So I'm gonna go ahead and now sew a line there just to secure my hand sanitizing in place in there. If you don't want to sew all the way down, you don't have to. You can just sew a little bit here and a little bit there. And if you have a wider bottle like this one here that's a little wider, this size wouldn't fit. So you would have to adjust the size before you pin it down. You would have to put your bottle in, adjust the size, then do your markings. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and sew that. So this part is down, so you can sew down, and now you can go ahead and check, see if it's secure. If you see this part here is too open here and you want this to be a little bit more close in, you can go ahead and do a couple more stitches here and get this closer to the bottom. But at this point here, it's not gonna pass, so it's pretty good. So I'm gonna leave mine that way. After you've done this part here, your pocket is done, we're gonna try to finish our bag. But before that, I'm gonna go ahead and put my two fabrics together, and I'm gonna go ahead and round these ends here. You can use a cup or anything that you have around to round your corners. I'm gonna go ahead and use the Creative Grid. This is a curved corner cutter, but if you don't have, you can definitely use a cup, anything that's rounded that you can go there and draw a line and then do your corner there. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut both of mine. I'm doing my exterior and my interior, just like that, or you can leave it square if you'd like. Okay, so this is done like that. So now I'm gonna go ahead and open my fabrics again, and then what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna bring this fabric and this fabric together all the way to the edge of my pocket. So I'm gonna go ahead, fold this here, and I'm gonna go ahead and sew a seam from here all the way to the edge, just to the edge of the pocket like that, and stop. And I'm gonna do the same to this side. So I sew here to the edge here and sew here to the, just to stay in seam, just to secure the two pieces together, and you end up with something like this. Just trim these threads. So, and right at this point, we're going to attach the strap and the piece for the D-ring. So you're going to put it to 1, and you're going to go ahead and attach that there. And get the other one, the side that's not finished, and you're going to put on the other side. So raw edge with raw edge, and you're going to go ahead and attach it to that side, and you can go ahead and secure that in place. That one there, this is a little long right now. I'm going to trim this off, and I'm going to go ahead and secure this one here and that one there. So I secure my pieces here and that one here, And since we had this sewed here all the way to the pocket, now this is very easy to fold. So what are you going to do? You're going to pull this out like that. And as you see, since it's sewed into the pocket here, this is going to go all the way up like that. This is we're gonna put it in here so we don't get it stuck in the seam. And we're gonna go ahead and bring this up like this. Okay? So this goes like this now. So let me see if you understand. So we sew this all the way to here. I think mine is so close to the edge is falling out, but it's sewed all the way to here. So you end up with something like this. So now this folds here, and this one comes on top. Just fold it right at the edge of the red. What do you have here? See? Right at the edge of that red. And goes all the way up to the one that you have here. So you're going to go ahead and even this out with clips or pins. Gonna fold this neatly. And what I want you to do is leave an opening so we can turn this inside out, and we're gonna leave the opening after the bag here. So I would say after you pass this part, between this part here and here, we're gonna leave an opening. So I would mark about 2 inches or so. I'm going to do the same here to the side. This is folded. And we're going to sew that all the way around the curve and everything. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do that and show you turning it to the right side. So I sew all this side here and left the opening here. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn it to the right side. And our bag is pretty much done. All we have to attach is the other D-ring and do a top stitch. So you're going to go ahead and press it. This opening here. We're going to go ahead and go here and do a top stitch here. And then we're going to fold this part here. And we're going to attach a snap. One of these little plastic snaps. Add the hand sanitizing. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do my top stitch, and I show you how to attach the snap just in case you don't know how. And if you don't have that, before you sew this here, you can add a little elastic here and add a button down here so the elastic can go around the button if you don't have these snaps. I did my top stitch. So now I would want to mark where I would want my snap. So I would mark the middle and do a little dot there. And put the snap through. Like that. You're going to use one of these tools to put it on. Then you're going to go ahead and put your hand sanitizing there. Bring that down. See where you want this here. Leave a little room here on the top because you want to be able to put the mask in. So you're going to go ahead and mark it where you want it. So about here. And you're going to go ahead and add the other one in. Over here. So you're going to go from the inside out. Put the other part. Gonna sew this here. Your snap is there. You put that in there. You can get your mask and put it in there. And your bag, your little bag is done. Okay, you can put that in your purse with your hand sanitizing and your mask. You can also add a handmade tag like I added to this one, and your bag is done. I hope you like this project. We'll see you next time for another video. Happy sewing, everyone.